This is the secret system that top producers use when the market is tough. This is also the same system that Tom Brady used to become the best, and Kobe Bryant used to become the best, and Mike Tyson used to become the best. If you don't like your future, you got to change your framework. Your framework sets your future, and I'm going to prove it to you today by this. How to sell through any circumstance. So this is the secret system that top producers use when the market is tough. This is exactly how Woodside was able to do a turnaround. We also did it several years, like it was 2015, 2016 for K Hovnanian. They were about to go under as well, and so we had a huge intervention with them as well. So this system works with so many organizations, and I promise you, it'll work for you personally. So it works collectively as an organization, of course, but it absolutely will work with you personally. So this is a secret system that top producers use when the market is tough. This is also the same system that Tom Brady used to become the best, and Kobe Bryant used to become the best, and Mike Tyson used to become the best. So if you want to become the best at what you do, you need a system. You need a framework. And the thing that you're going to hear me say a lot is that if you don't like your future, you got to change your framework. Let me say it again. If you don't like your future, you got to change your framework. Your framework sets your future, and I'm going to prove it to you today by this. So here's a great quote. If you haven't read this book, you definitely should read anything that James Clear writes. He writes some good stuff. People don't rise to the level of their goals; they fall to the level of their system. And you know, here's I was going to share this email from you, but I don't have time right now, so I'll share it with you later. But this is something I believe, and that's if people don't like their future, they just need to change their framework. And so we're going to talk about that today. So again, your framework equals your future. So if you don't like your future self and who you're going to become in the future, if you don't change the path, you got to change the framework. And I'll show you how to do it. It's very, very simple. So again, what I believe, it's not your desire, it's your missing skills. But I also believe that it's not your fault because you've never been taught how to master these skills. I'm sure you've probably heard by now, but you know, our education system was actually created by one of the Rockefellers, and the Rockefellers' goal back then was actually to create doers, not thinkers. They at that time, they believed that we just needed more factory workers, we needed more doers, we didn't need more thinkers. And so our entire education system is actually not there to teach you how to think. It's actually there to teach you how to do, which is why we sit in the classroom and we say yes sir and no sir and yes ma'am and just regurgitate stuff. I mean that's it. And so now all that education system is starting to be revolted. And I know all my strong-willed children on the call right now can amen this, that you're like, oh, that's why I didn't like school. Yeah, because you had this inner desire inside of you to be a thinker and not a doer, and you're like, I don't know if I agree with all what we're learning here, right? And so it's not your fault because our environment really hasn't been taught to master skills like this. And so I'm going to share with you what I've come across and what I've learned that in this kind of secret society of personal development that I've been a part of for the last 2 decades. And so here's how I figured it out for you. So again, I'm spending the last 20 years doing this. So first off, there's a guy named Ron Willingham, and I first met him when I was 25 years old. And again, I was the head of sales training for Richmond American Homes, and I was tasked at 25 to come up with a sales training program for the company. And I didn't feel capable at the time to write my own program. I didn't know what I know now, and so instead I went to go seek out other training programs. And so I found Challenger wasn't back then. I found spin selling, solution selling, Sandler. I found obviously the Zig Ziglar selling system that, again, I love. I also found this guy, Ron Willingham, in integrity selling. And so I decided to go get certified in integrity, and I certified all my trainers in integrity at the time at 25. And we trained about 300 and so new home salespeople a year for the next several years in his program. And one of the things that he taught me, he passed away a few years ago, but man, he really mentored the heck out of me. I almost partnered up with them to actually take his company to the next level. But he really changed my life when he said this quote. He said, "How you see yourself has more to do with your success than what you do." And it was really kind of a life-changing moment that he started. He got me on this path that selling's not just an outer game, it's an inner game. And he actually wrote this book called The Inner Game of Selling, which is an absolutely phenomenal book. But he really put me on this path of that sure, our process matters, but what also matters is how do we see ourselves, right? That inner thermostat that we have. And do we see ourselves as worthy? Do we see ourselves that we matter? It's my new version of that would be that do we matter? So I've kind of translated that for you. So mindset is really, really important. So you've got to constantly spend time on on your selling mindset. The more you believe you matter, the more you believe you're just one skill away. You're one skill away from anything. One skill away from anything. I really do believe that. This is also a person that I found in my life. So my wife and I, like I told you before, are master practitioners in neuro-linguistic programming. We're at the same level as Tony Robbins when it comes to hypnotherapy and when it comes to mastering this craft. It took us over 2,000 hours to do it. It's very, very time consuming. We spent every weekend there for about 2 years going through all this curriculum. And Susan does not certify very many people. She's actually only certified 20 people in her 40-year career. Because she wants to really see them demonstrate it. Not that they philosophically know NLP, but they can embody NLP, which I really respect her level of mastery on that. And one of the things that she taught me in NLP and taught Mary and I is that the most successful people and companies follow a detailed process. And they're procedural in their mind. And you really need to think about that is that, and so many people say, you know, Jason, I think every customer is different. Sure, every customer is different. But actually the best way, write this down, the best way to actually honor their difference is to actually have a consistent process that you're allowed to use, that's structured, that you could follow, that allows you to focus on the customer. Because the mistake that people make is, I don't actually use a process so that I can focus on the customer. And the problem with that is that you actually can't do that. Like, it's impossible. So the more you actually have a framework, like the frameworks I've taught you this week, the more you actually have a framework, the more you're liberated to actually make the customer the most important thing. But if you're always thinking about, I wonder what I should do next, and trying to pay attention to the customer and have empathy is I feel what you feel, like you can't do both at the same time. So you really need to have a process that you can run. And again, this is not just, Bill Walsh of the 49ers, he has a great book called The Score Takes Care of Itself, that it's not, if you want the score, you got to focus on the process. And how about language? You know, that our language is so important. So we've talked about mindset, process, and language. And I've given you a lot of scripts. I've given you a lot of words that you can use. And I think it's important for us to be what I would call buyer-lingual, right? We need to be sales-lingual, we need to be buyer-lingual. And that means that we have to be able to use words that penetrate the heart and souls and the minds of our buyers, and we have to unleash them.
You won't believe how hilarious the results were.
So the first one says, you get bread, you get peanut butter, and you get jelly. Did I make it? That's what it said to do. Put the bread flat. Spread jelly and jam on the bread. It's crunchy. Spread peanut butter on the other side. Got it. First, you must put on the jelly. I need to put it on? What? So we just did a whole lesson on adding detail to our writing. Do we understand?
What do you think of this teaching style?
I think that we are the teacher, and I think our customer are the students. And it's kind of a fun example about how we have to be impeccable with our words, and how often we say things that actually causes friction in the customer, that causes confusion in the customer. And to me, it's just a great example of how important our language matters. Proverbs says that death and life are the power of the tongue, and the power of the tongue. I believe that everything out of your mouth creates sales life or sales death.